Living in a physical body can be challenging, but for the most part, we're able to negotiate pretty well. However, living in a physical body within a physical reality that you've created with the thoughts that you're thinking can somehow derail even the best of us and leave us all thinking at some point, God, why hast thou forsaken me? Welcome everyone, it's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and today we're going to tackle that incredibly difficult question which all of us have asked at some point in our lives, and that is, where is God when things seem to be going badly? Now, in order to really understand God, we've got to look at the energy of Jesus. Now, please suspend all of your religious teaching for the moment and just connect with me with the energy of Jesus that represents unconditional love. Jesus came to teach us one thing, and that thing is God is good and good is God. So we are asking the right question when we're saying, oh my gosh, everything is so bad. Where is God? Because God is absent from those things. Now that could make you feel like, all right, now she's really lost her mind, because all of the other times she told us that God is everywhere and in everything. And that is still true. However, God can only be in that which is real. And those limiting beliefs and that false teaching and negative thinking, those things are not real. However, we have been gifted with reasoning and with free will. So this means that we are able to look at those things that do not exist and to give all of our time and attention to them and create them in the world that we choose to occupy, which is now a world where we've squeezed God out. We can't disconnect completely, but we've squeezed God out because we've taken our attention away from what's good and put it on what's wrong. So let's take a look at Jesus and these really important teachings that he came to share with us. But first, let's take a little walk into the life of the figure, the physical being that was Jesus, and look at some of the times when Jesus too felt like he had been abandoned. First of all, we got to always remember that Jesus came to be the physical representation of God, because God that exists everywhere and in everything is basically invisible. So Jesus came to give form to God, not the only form, but to show us what we as human beings who are made in the image and likeness of God can achieve if we will align completely with God. So he is illustrating that whatever is outside the good does not really exist, and therefore, just by turning your attention on what does exist, that which is good and loving and whole and joyful and peaceful, you will overcome whatever it is that you feel is missing or empty in your life. And we have to also remember that with this gift of free will comes the ability to choose. We get to choose how much of God we allow into our lives. If we want to live a God-free existence, We can, not completely, because that connection is what's keeping us alive. But if we want to explore the depth and the breadth of the darkness, we are free to do so. But when we expand our heart and we allow more of the goodness of God to flow within us, more of God is operating in our life, and therefore we get to experience more that is good, because God is good and good is God. So, no one has been left out. That's impossible. You can choose to remove yourself from the stream of unconditional, loving goodness, but you cannot be left out. No one has been denied or has been judged and found to be unworthy or less than. That somehow you're just not good enough. That condition can only exist in your mind, but it does not exist in God's mind. Jesus, as a physical being, living in a physical world, surrounded by the end product of the thought that people are having, had periods where he experienced doubt, fear, and bewilderment. And let's face it, it wouldn't have been a very good experiment at God understanding what it was like to be physical if nothing ever happened that challenged any of the godliness in any way. So it's absolutely perfect that there would be challenge. We want challenge. And the first challenge that Jesus experienced, and I'm taking this from the Amplified Bible, was the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert with the devil. And this was Luke 4, chapters 1 through 21. In this desert temptation, he was told, well, if you're hungry, turn stones into bread. And if you really want to be powerful, worship me, Satan, and I'll show you what it's like to be powerful, because I'm so much more powerful than this God that has abandoned you to be hungry and to be lonely and to be out here in this temptation and this plane that appears to be empty for you to discover yourself. And while you're at it, why don't you just throw yourself off this building and ask God to rescue you? These are the different ways in which we undermine ourselves. We keep telling ourselves, well, I shouldn't be going through this experience of growth. I shouldn't be in this desert place where I'm being tempted, or I feel hungry and I'm striving for more, or I'm learning to depend on God, or where God is asking me to grow. But that's exactly why you have come into this physical body. If you wanted to stay the same, just to grow a little tiny bit, you would never have agreed to a physical lifetime. So now that you are here in a physical life, don't limit yourself to what you can achieve. Instead, when these growth opportunities come to your door, throw the door open and say yes, and then, before you step through that door of labeled growth, take a moment to align yourself with God. God, where are you, so that I can go forward in your stream of unconditional love? I need to know where I need to be, because I must align with you. Not, here I am, God, please come over here and join me. It is you going to God, who is unmovable and unchangeable and can never be anything but good. you, if you are having a difficulty, have moved off into a place that is less than good. You must move yourself back to the place where God is, and that's the place that is going to feel good. You might have to grow a little to get to that place. Welcome the growth, know that you're ready, and know that you're being helped. Just as Jesus knew, even though he was being tempted to show that he was powerful and loved and sustained by God, and that you need worldly goods, that it's so much more important than this God that you keep talking about. All of these things may enter into your awareness as temptations. But understand this, the lesser is always included in the greater. God is the greater. So when you align yourself with God, when you figure out where your heart feels right, open, centered, and really receiving that unconditional love that is pouring forth unceaselessly, then you will be in alignment, and the lesser things, food, shelter, whatever you need for sustenance, abundance, success, these lesser things will automatically be added onto you because you have aligned yourself with the greater. And the lesser has to be part of the greater. The lesser can never be bigger than the greater, and it can never come without the greater. But the greater comes with all of these lesser things that you may be seeking. So stop seeking the thing and start seeking alignment with God. So that was his desert temptation when he was learning the principle, the understanding, the challenge of growth. But he also had the temptation when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he felt abandoned, because there he is in the garden. This is Matthew 26, chapter 36 through 46. And he says, well, let me quote this for you. "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass away from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, not what I desire, but as you will and desire." Jesus was feeling doubt and uncertainty. He wasn't sure he wanted to go and do this whole thing with Pilate and the crucifixion. He knew that he was coming to show us that life is eternal, that the physical body may expire, but that which is you lives forever. However, he wasn't sure he was up to the task. And those disciples, those friends that he thought were going to support him and make this journey easier, they fell asleep. They just let him carry the load all by himself. Jesus had the opportunity to get mad, to get sad, to be a victim, to feel badly that, hey, why do I get stuck with this? And he had a moment of that. "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass away from me." Wasn't exactly what he thought would be the most fun in the world. But then, because he was in alignment, he let go of what appeared to be overwhelming sorrow and gave it to God. He let go of his doubt, his fear, and his uncertainty. And he overcame and stepped back into the place of loving certainty and was able to proceed forward with this such important lesson that has shaped the entire world moving forward. This is the power that you have when you align with God. Are you going to step out of sync? Are you going to step into doubt and fear and uncertainty? Probably. What I want you to do is step back in to the place where you are aligned with God and you know the power that is within you as quickly as you possibly can. Those of you who are with me on Patreon, we are going to do an exercise today with Jesus that will help you to clear those doubts and those feelings of uncertainty more quickly. But now let us all go to Jesus and hear what he has shared with us. What he has written directly to us about why has God forsaken me? And he begins. There will come a time in the life of every person when they will feel a failure. There will come a time when you will feel abandoned and cast out, cast by the wayside. And there will come a time when you are certain that these feelings of loss and abandonment are punishment from God, a sure indicator that you are both unworthy and unloved. I, Jesus, say to you, stop. This is not and could never be a truthful statement. I command you to step away from this thinking and speaking. Step away from believing and living as if lies are true and that falsehoods, oft repeated, will become a new standard of perfection for God. I ask you to stop and take a clear and conscious look at what you are affirming. When you claim that God can and has abandoned you and sees you as an unworthy candidate for their love, you are saying that that which is only good, God, has somehow become a little bad, a little less, and should no longer be revered. You are asking that God do the impossible so that your limiting beliefs can be sustained. The reason this failure came upon you is because your growth is at hand. Your period of expansion has arrived so that that which used to serve you is no longer sufficient. When this happens, you may feel lost, confused, awkward, and at loose ends. But instead of going round the neighborhood telling the tale of your confusion, go within and connect with the source of your greatness. Commit to spending enough time within this sacred sanctuary to make your growth possible. Stop looking outside yourself and go within and await quietly the answers that you seek. Begin to affirm this day that you are strong and whole, loved and supported. Take your eyes off of all disappointment and put them onto your connection to Source, which lies within and loves you without condition. Call on me, Jesus, to help you move your attention from the outer world to the inner world. You will not lose your outer safety. Instead, you will gain inner enlightenment, and from the place of expanded awareness, You will learn of your true purpose, the gift you have brought to share. So, go within and find your truth. Go within and rise. I absolutely guarantee you that if you will commit to going within and connecting to the God that is within each and every one of you, your life will improve. As you release the fear, the doubt, the hatred, the condemnation, and all of the shame and blame that you have collected through the years, as your heart becomes healed and becomes purer and more filled with the love of God, the transformation that is happening within you will begin revealing itself on the outside of you with the circumstances that you are experiencing throughout your life. If life is not going the way that you want it to go, you must go within and take a look at the thoughts and the feelings that you are projecting out into the world that say, well, I feel really bad about myself. I don't like me, or I hate me, or I don't feel worthy. I'm just useless. I have nothing to offer. All of these negative limiting beliefs are going to come back to you as circumstances and people that reflect this same belief that you've placed out into the world. When you start saying, I love myself, I accept myself as I am, I find good within me, I am proud of who I am, you will begin attracting to you people who can also love you as you are, accept you as you are, and will help lift you higher as you help lift them. Love yourself so much that you overflow with love. That love that's coming to you from God will help you learn to love yourself, but it won't just stop with you. Once you're an overflowing fountain of self-love, everyone you meet will be flooded with love as well. So please begin today to love and accept yourself just as you are. You're absolutely worth it. Now, I mentioned Patreon, and I want to invite all of you to join me in the Healing Hearts community on Patreon. That link is below the video, and in it you will get practical tips and tools that you can use in your everyday life. You can access it either with the link or by going to my website, which is marshamartinthehearthealer.com or mmhearthealer.com. And that, if you use Marsha, it's spelled Marcia. Now you'll find everything that you would need for your spiritual journey on that website. There are many free resources, but there is also a way to go deeper, and one of those ways is through our Healing Hearts community. And today we're going to do an exercise with Jesus so that you will have that tool of releasing yourself from condemnation. And that doesn't matter whether it's come from outside you or from you looking at things about yourself that you don't like. So whether it's an outside source condemning you or you creating self-condemnation, you will be released from that with this tool that Jesus is sharing with us today. So thank you everyone so much. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and thank you for commenting and really expanding this community. As always, if you feel that there's a topic that you would like addressed, put it in the comments. I will be happy to address it in a video. So, sending you all my love, and until next week, my deepest gratitude. Thanks so much, everyone.